In Ravenshollow, they did not fear God. They feared something older, an ancient terror woven into their bones. The village, shrouded by a suffocating forest, was a place outsiders never found. The roads twisted away, the trees whispered warnings. The villagers knew they weren't just isolated, they were quarantined. Every 13th full moon, dread thickened. Rituals began, shutters bolted, doors marked with ash and salt, families huddled in silence. They listened for the thing that walked the forest path, the snap of twigs, the guttural growl. This time the signs were worse. The forest fell silent. Animals died in grotesque, bloodless displays. Bloody symbols appeared on ancient stones, mocking the dawn. The villagers tried to explain it away, wolves, cruel pranks, but deep down they knew. The air was charged with malevolence. Superstitions felt useless. Fear was no longer a whisper, it was a scream. The 13th moon was rising, and the entity was not just hungry, it was angry. The village braced for a terror older than memory. No one slept, no one spoke of hope. Only the moon watched, cold and indifferent. The true horror began in the children's beds. Nightmares plagued every child. Visions of a faceless man, shadows stretching across their rooms. Sleepwalking followed. Children wandered the village at night, tracing bloody symbols in the dirt. Their eyes were vacant, their smiles wrong. Violence erupted. Pets vanished. Toys destroyed. Innocence lost. The breaking point young Alara found over a slaughtered cow, humming a discordant lullaby. Parents saw strangers in their children's eyes. The evil was no longer at the border, it was in their blood. Ravenshollow's future was poisoned. Desperation shattered Ravenshollow's silence. The elders confessed, centuries ago, famine and plague drove them to a pact with Malric Thorn, a warlock. He promised prosperity for a price, a life every 13th full moon. At first they sacrificed outsiders, but as the world forgot Ravenshollow, there were no more strangers. The warlock's spirit, bound to the land, turned its hunger inward. The animal deaths and bloody symbols were warnings. Now the children were the demanded tribute. The elders' confession fell heavy in the church. Ravenshollow's blessings were built on blood and lies. The curse had come home. The villagers realized they were not blessed, but damned. The debt was due. The children would pay the price. Into this terror rode Father Gabriel, a haunted exorcist drawn by whispers of darkness. The villagers eyed him with wary hope. Gabriel walked the cursed woods, read the bloody symbols, and felt the ancient evil rooted in the land. The entity targeted him. Nightmares, temptations, visions of his own failures. But Gabriel's faith, scarred but unbroken, held firm. He learned the full story from the elders and realized this was no simple haunting. The curse was a spiritual infection, tied to blood and earth. To break it, he would have to confront Malric Thorn's power at its source. The final confrontation was inevitable. The fate of Ravenshollow rested on one last exorcism. Guided by the elders, Gabriel found Malric Thorn's grave in a forbidden grove. Armed with the sacred dagger of St. Jude, he prepared for battle. Under the 13th moon, he unearthed the warlock's skull, pulsing with evil. The entity erupted, shadows swirling, possessed children closing in. Gabriel began the exorcism, Latin words clashing with the warlock's psychic assault. As the children reached for him, he plunged the dagger into the skull. A scream tore through the forest, the warlock's shadow dissolved. The children collapsed, freed from possession. The curse was broken. Gabriel warned, evil is never destroyed, only displaced. Far away, in another desperate town, a faceless stranger emerged from the woods, offering prosperity for a bloody price.